Hello everyone, my name is Jake, part of Group 11. I'm going to be introducing us to our project. Our presentation today is on the physiological role of sleep and the effects of sleep deprivation. Sleep is often overlooked, especially when life gets busy, but without adequate rest, our bodies struggle to function properly, leading to both short-term and long-term health consequences. In this presentation, we're going to explore why sleep is essential, what happens inside our bodies while we sleep, the negative effects of sleep deprivation, as well as some practical ways to improve sleep hygiene. Whether you're someone who struggles to get enough rest on these nights or just want to learn more about sleep health, hopefully this information will be helpful to you. All right, the importance of sleep. Think back to a time where you pulled an all-nighter, maybe studying for an exam this semester, or like me, staying up with your 3-month-old all night. How did you feel the next day? Probably sluggish, irritable, unable to concentrate. That's because sleep is a biological necessity, not a luxury. Our bodies and brain rely on sleep to function properly. While we rest, critical processes occur from memory consolidation to immune system strengthening. Without adequate sleep, we experience immediate effects like brain fog, mood swings, and reduced cognitive performance. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation increases the risks of conditions such as heart disease, weakened immunity, and even mental health disorders. We'll be breaking down over this presentation the science behind sleep and why prioritizing it is so essential for everyone's well-being. All right, why sleep is necessary. When we sleep, our bodies go into repair mode. Our brains process and store memories, our cells regenerate, and our immune system strengthens. This is why sleep is essential both for physical and mental well-being. Studies show that poor sleep hygiene has both short-term and long-term effects. In the short term, sleep deprivation can make us more forgetful, anxious, easily distracted, and over time it contributes to chronic conditions like heart disease, obesity, and even depression. By prioritizing consistent, high-quality sleep, we allow our bodies to restore and function optimally. And throughout this presentation, we'll continue to explore all the physiological mechanisms behind sleep and what happens when we don't get enough of it. And here's the references for my section 1, and we'll be passing this right along to the next section.
These are the physiological mechanisms behind sleep. Sleep can be divided into different stages, including REM and NREM. NREM stands for non-rapid eye movement during sleep. NREM sleep is divided into 3 gradually merging states, N1, N2, and N3. These stages of NREM sleep increase in depth of sleep as they move from N1 to N3. After these stages, we enter into REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement when asleep. REM sleep is associated with dreaming, memory consolidation, and brain development. Sleep has a multifunctional effect on the body. It is used to restore the body and regulate various functions such as the nervous system and immune system. During sleep, specifically during NREM sleep, the production and release of cytokines increase. Cytokines are crucial for the initiation of immune responses. Sleep also facilitates the increased production of T cells. T cells are a type of white blood cell that identifies and eliminates pathogens as part of the body's immune response. Research indicates that during sleep, sympathetic nervous system activity decreases as the parasympathetic nervous system activity increases. This lowers cortisol levels during sleep, which allows the immune system to function more efficiently and reduce risks of inflammatory diseases. And these are my references for this section.
We will now go over the consequences of sleep deprivation. Looking at the physiological effects of sleep deprivation, there are a number of ways that poor sleep hygiene disrupt bodily functions. Some of these consequences include immune system is compromised, negative hormonal impact, and negative effects on the nervous system. Sleep is essential in the body's ability to heal itself. It aids in regulating inflammation and preventing disease development. So sleep deprivation may impact cytokine production and T cell activities. This becomes a disadvantage to the immune system because those cytokine and T cells, their role is to fight infection. So without adequate sleep, the body can't properly maintain immune function integrity. There was a study done that looked at the relationship between sleep and antibody production of vaccines. This study ultimately concluded that individuals experiencing sleep deprivation also experience decreased antibody production, kind of showing how those two are intertwined. Sleep deprivation's ability to disrupt the body's regulation of appetite may cause weight gain, and prolonged sleep has been seen to negatively impact cortisol by creating elevated cortisol levels during times where we don't want those levels elevated, and that causes a disruption for the metabolism. It may also contribute to insulin resistance, impaired glucose tolerance, and increased risk of developing diabetes. Some of the consequences that sleep deprivation has on the nervous system is the synaptic strength may ultimately weaken, and this will affect the brain's ability to learn and retain. Another consequence that it has is causing the neurotransmitters to change. Sleep deprivation lowers the body's output of certain neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, some of those happy neurotransmitters, which is why it affects mood and memory. And these are my references.
Now we will discuss some of the interventions that can be used to improve sleep patterns. To begin with, one of the first ways to improve sleep patterns is by improving sleep hygiene practices, such as aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. This is the ideal range because too little sleep can result in sleep deprivation, while too much sleep can result in poor sleep quality, which can make you feel more tired when you wake up. Ensuring that you're building a consistent sleep schedule helps align your body's circadian rhythm, which is basically your body's natural 24-hour clock cycle that regulates different processes. And by keeping this aligned, it'll in turn increase melatonin production in your body, which will make you fall asleep and wake up more easily. Third, exercising helps prevent conditions like obesity, which affects sleep quality. So making exercising part of your everyday routine will in turn reduce this risk, as well as decrease cortisol levels, which will make your mind be more calm at bedtime. To improve sleep patterns, lifestyle and behavioral adjustments can be made to avoid things like caffeine, alcohol, light exposure, and heavy meals around bedtime. Adenosine is a chemical sedative that the body makes while one is awake, and because caffeine blocks adenosine receptors in the brain, this prevents one from feeling tired and reduces sleep quality and duration. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep and disrupts other sleep cycle balances, resulting in lower quality sleep cycles as well. And light exposure triggers signals to the brain to stay alert, which disrupts your melatonin production, making it more difficult to fall asleep. And heavy meals before bed can result in increased digestive system activity that can interfere with the body's sleep processes. Lastly, ensuring that you have an ideal sleep environment is just as important as ensuring that you're practicing healthy sleeping habits. By practicing consistent mindfulness routines before bed, this shifts the body from the sympathetic to parasympathetic activity, helping calm the mind and body to reduce anxiety and stress. Avoid using the bed for non-sleeping activities, as the body can then associate the bed with activities that require you to be alert rather than winding down. Comfortable bedding will promote adequate support for improved sleep quality and decrease the number of times that you toss and turn due to discomfort. And lastly, the dark environment promotes melatonin production. The cool environment promotes a cooler body temperature to help initiate sleep processes, and the reduction of noise helps the body wind down and avoid sleep cycle disruptions.
Some of the key insights regarding the physiological impact of sleep on our health. Sleep is a biological necessity essential for supporting various functions of the body, including hormone regulation for melatonin that regulates sleep and circadian rhythms, insulin which regulates blood sugar levels, and cortisol which helps the body respond to stress. Sleep also supports muscle repair, cognitive and immune function, which sleep increases cytokines and T cells. There are two critical sleep stages: non-rapid eye movement for deep rest and physical recovery, and rapid eye movement, which is responsible for emotional processing and memory consolidation. A few short-term effects of sleep disruption are stress, mood changes, and weakened immunity, Long-term effects include increased risk of cardiovascular disease, weight gain or obesity, and mental health disorders. In summary, adequate sleep is essential to maintain physiological mechanisms that support our physical and mental health. Although everybody experiences sleep, many of us are unaware of the science behind it and how it directly impacts various bodily functions. Prioritizing healthy sleep habits like developing a consistent sleep schedule and aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night will dramatically improve sleep quality and health. Understanding the physiological role of sleep encourages us to make more informed lifestyle choices that improve our overall well-being. To conclude, I encourage you to reflect on the following questions. How might chronic sleep deprivation impact the long-term health of physiological systems, such as the nervous, cardiovascular, immune, and metabolic systems? Have you observed any ways your sleep hygiene impacts your physical or mental well-being on a daily basis? What changes could you make to your current lifestyle or sleep routine that would promote better sleep quality? Thank you for your time and attention.